Salt Wars going on right here.
Salt Wars, that was great.
Tweeted,
Salt Wars was fantastic. We are about to get into this matchup. Like you were saying, Kobe, how much the players themselves have kind of taken to the rivalry as well and built that up in its own kind of being. And now we get to see it once again come to fruition here in the summer split.
2 thumbs up for the Rise ban. I approve.
Even if you don't have either thumb, though, you can still play Rise perfectly.
Yeah, that's right. Face, keyboard, win game. Rumble, Gragas banned out on the left side. After that Rise ban, Team Solomid's like, I think that's all we needed. Rise, right? That's the one that's going to be huge. No, they know they need to target a few more. It's actually going to be a Yasuo for Zion Spartan, that top lane. He gets a chuckle out of that one. And the team is ready for these bans coming in.
Yeah, pretty much ever since Impact played Yasuo in Week 1 top lane of the LCS,
all
the NALCS top laners took to spamming him in solo queue, and no one was more proficient at it than Zion Spartan. If anyone saw the video, he had a back-to-back pentakill in one game.
I also really like the ban just because it's a champion that if you do get a small lead, then you can snowball so heavily. And, you know, Dyrus is often the early target of some early jungle pressure, and they don't want to let that get out of control.
You have a point there, Kobe. They do like to focus Dyrus in the early game, no matter what region you're from. Let's see if that happens again here for Counter Logic Gaming if they try to pursue that. One last ban here after the Alistar comes out of Counter Logic Gaming. Will it be that Bard? Well, Afremu gets a Bard.
Yeah, it's been banned 3 out of 3 games against CLG, and with Alistair and Thresh being out of pick as well, I don't think it'll be like... It's not a first pick worthy champion, but it's something that he could definitely play.
It's also been hyped up almost as much as this match, just because everyone keeps banning it against Afremu.
It's like someone just hit a grand slam just to hover.
Honestly, though, with 2 support bans, this is the most support bans we've seen in a while, you know, since the start of this split. So definitely going to be a high-pressure pick.
Yes, Double Lift's getting that Kalista. It's been a very high priority pick ban throughout the first 2 weeks of the summer split. So they get a nice priority pick there at the top of the list. We'll see what Team Solomid can answer with.
Kalista is definitely a hard champion to answer as far as the bottom lane goes.
We saw a little bit of Ashe to answer Kalista, at least in the laning phase. I thought we'd end up seeing more Ashe throughout the LCS split, but
as did I.
It's really died off, even though you can use Hawkshot globally. Unbelievably. No, but...
you junglers.
Hey, man. Hawkshot's scary. There's many more priority picks right here. Ashe wouldn't need to be answered quite yet, especially with the Gragas ban. The Rek'Sai makes the most sense from TSM's perspective. And I really wonder what style they're going to go with their team compositions right now. They've had success with a variety of things if you're CLG, whether it's poke-based or just a whole bunch of damage.
Wow. All right. Blind picking the LB for Bjergsen. He figures that's going to be what he can do within the mid lane. Santorin gets Rek'Sai.
He did it yesterday. He's definitely not afraid of any matchups. With the Zed nerfs as well, and Zed also not being popular in the meta, it's very hard to counter LeBlanc. At best, you get skill matchups with other champions.
Yeah, even though Assassins aren't really feeling like they're in, LeBlanc is still one of the most banned champions globally. For those reasons.
And still a great answer for Kalista. You know, you don't have to counter Kalista in her own lane. Bring it
got to be able to kill her.
Lane. Yeah, there you go.
No Bard.
No Bard. Some groans from the crowd. Nautilus and Maokai picked up here.
Yeah. As soon as you see an assassin like LeBlanc that's going to be trying to make her way to the high priority targets, pick up some really strong front line with point and click CC. Good answer to trying to ward off LeBlanc. Keep Double Lift safe.
Still waiting on the side of Team Solomid. Pobelter now has all the time in the world to figure out what he can play against that Bjergsen, as Team Solomid figures out what they kind of want to round out their composition with. We heard Pobelter in that video saying he was quite angry at the loss he had from Team Solomid on his previous team. Now he gets a chance at Revenge Bard gets locked in. That's Lustboy and the Gnar for Dyrus.
So Lustboy's actually already played Bard. He played it at MSI against EDG. That didn't go well. But there's been some time since then. Maybe TSM has put in some actual team practice with the Bard. Bard is good, in my opinion, against tanks. But, oh man.
It's also, he's extremely strong with Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai already, she has an amazing early game and super strong ganks. Bard, you can leave health packs in the jungle to make sure she'll be at 100% without even chugging potions, and you can assist ganks down bottom, because a Nautilus Kalista lane is very, very scary. And if you even think about going towards that lane, you're going to need some sort of special gank, Bard assisted Magical Journey or something to get in there with multiple people.
It's always hard to play against a champion that's relatively new on the main stage when you haven't seen it used to that caliber. You definitely see some Cosmic Bindings come up big for mispositioning on the side of CLG, or the other way around, that we see Lustboy get himself into trouble. Azir and Lee Sin now locked in. Xmithy's going to go pretty aggressive here in this game with that Lee pickup. Pobelter's got his Azir.
Yeah, Lee Sin against Rek'Sai is very bold. Rek'Sai can shut down Lee Sin fairly well, so Smithy's going to have to find opportunities that aren't near the Rek'Sai, especially with Sejuani up on the table and already a heavy tank line. Interesting choice right there, but they need to keep up with early pressure, is what that pick says to me.
If I was Smithy, I would definitely focus my efforts around the dual lane, and it's not just because this is Counter Logic Gaming. That Lee Sin plus the Kalista Nautilus combo is very, very scary. Whether it's lane swap or not, you have to worry about dives, you have to worry about early pressure. That's where most of their kill pressure is going to come from early on.
Silver makes the most sense.
Catch up to people on some Tempered Fate.
Team-based.
Run away from a fight, get Gnar back in. LeBlanc can worry about herself. Bjergsen's pick now goes to him in the mid lane. We see these compositions rounded out. What are you guys thinking looking now at Counter Logic Gaming and TSM?
Well, it looks like TSM still going around the Bjergsen strategy. They had 12 kills on LeBlanc yesterday. That was with Rek'Sai jungle support. Bard also significant roam pressure throughout the map. Maybe some lane swaps from TSM, but mainly a mid lane focus game as we normally see.
Yeah. Once again, the matchup, the LeBlanc-Azir matchup that Bjergsen talked about being so easily tipped.
Yet, the two times we've seen it, Xiao's been on both sides of that as Azir and LeBlanc. Got crushed as Azir, then crushed with LeBlanc.
Lucky for Xiao, he's not in this game.
All right. Pobelter going to have to try to reverse the trend that we've been seeing from that matchup.
The coaches to approaches. 6-lol, Loco Doco down. Loco getting a few last words in there, making sure the team knows what to do. Be like, make sure you don't just Tempered Fate yourselves and stand there and look weird. You're going to have to make this work. You're pulling out a Bard pick. Definitely trying to kind of send a message here.
Absolutely.
Be sure to update your vote with each gank and team fight by tweeting at LOL Esports with either the hashtag CLG win or hashtag TSM win. We'll update those as we get through the game. You see the comms on your screen. The crowd is more than ready. Week 2, day 2, representing the Goliath versus Goliath match here as Counter Logic Gaming takes on Team Solomid for the rivalry. Let's see what these guys got for each other. We are on the Rift. Head-to-head between these guys, 10-8 in the regular season in favor of TSM. Let's see if CLG can kind of squeeze that deficit back.
It's going to be quite the game. It's earlier on in the season, not as much hype from the last TSM versus CLG game, but whenever these guys have played against each other, I mean, even hearing the analyst desk talk about it, it has set teams on very different trajectories.
That's very true. Seeing CLG kind of go down. And Bjergsen credits Pobelter's smooth transition as well onto CLG to the existing strength of the team.
CLG just had a very solid base, so it was very easy to plug and play someone like Pobelter because he's just a very mechanically skilled player. So when you already have shot callers in space, you already have a lot of the communication going. Just putting in someone like Pobelter who will do solid is just going to elevate your team even more in terms of play. So I think CLG is definitely going to be looking good.
Speaking of Pobelter, I just want to point out that he has opted to take no magic resist glyphs, as we highlighted that for Xiao in his matchup, and a lot of people were giving him flack. Pobelter has decided to go with the same thing. It's not a very rare thing. You know, some mid laners opt to go with the later game, either scaling AP or scaling cooldown reduction. But he is sitting at the 30 base MR. And he's going to rely on the barrier to keep himself from the all-in of Bjergsen. Pobelter has confidence in his laning phase, and he's ruined for the late game, which is basically what CLG are all about. They're all about when we group up, we've got a good front line, we have Azir, all these ways to block the LeBlanc trying to get in and assassinate.
That's something they've been vocal about as well. Having Pobelter on the team assures them that they will have damage from that mid lane coming to the fight. Cosmic Binding there from Lustboy. A little bit of harass. Can't do it to 3 people, though. It's only going to go through 2, so he's going to be forced out of this one.
Really interesting
Door
level
number 2
here. CLG was trying to start strong side jungle and start red. Lustboy ends up harassing and delaying it a fair bit, but we're still, I think, going to end up seeing standard lanes and probably just both junglers going top to bottom of the map in that sense, or red to blue.
We'll see if they can make anything out of this, because otherwise it's just going to be that teleport down for Zion. Meanwhile, Dyrus is going to have an extra lead in that lane because he'll be able to take a big hit and then return with his teleport. Plus, he was in lane first, so got extra experience. This is the way that TSM want to set up Dyrus for early success.
Basically, by Lustboy wandering in on that, it feels like CLG gets those lane swaps improperly. Zion Spartan had to burn his teleport late to the lane experience-wise. Smithy late to his own blue buff. He did take the crab on the way, but it does show us Santorin already hitting level 3 and able to get some nice control over not only the mid lane side of the game, but the top laner's position as well. Dyrus may be set up to succeed in this match.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the duo lanes, having found each other, Doublelift was very outspoken about the game versus Team 8 when he had to play the Sivir into the Kalista. That is an 80-20 matchup in his opinion. So we'll see if he's able to use that 80% to try and bully Wild Turtle.
Yeah, Kalista Nautilus.
It's definitely scary.
Is super, super scary, especially if Bard can't initially land his Q, because after that, Bard just has his auto attack, which, if he has a mate behind him, will give him a small slow early on in the game, but definitely not the type of all-in potential that Kalista Nautilus has. This is very much a lane for CLG to win 2v2.
Yeah, ever since those changes to Nautilus E, a lot of early damage that he can trade. All it takes is one hook to get in there. Wild Turtle will be quick with the spell shield, though.
Safely being played right now. Yeah, spell shield and hovering behind the minions as much as possible to keep it safe in this lane. 26-17 though. The 80% is working a little bit, but he's got quite a minion wave, Wild Turtle does, to hit once it gets towards that turret.
Right, so the point now is for CLG to pressure, since they have this big set of minions grouped up at the turret, you try and pressure that wave all the way into the turret and harass Turtle while he's trying to get those CS and even up the CS numbers.
What's interesting about this for CLG is it's very hard to pressure 2v2 against a Rek'Sai. Doublelift mentioned in his interview they're almost trying to draw jungle attention in the 2v2 so that their solo lanes can succeed with the help of Smithy's jungle ganks. And we're kind of seeing that spread right now. Smithy on the bottom side of the map while CLG is pushed to the top lane.